I'm Elil from the Malaysian Insight.
Hi, Alil, go ahead.
I would just like to clarify, this 8,000 that you're proposing, right? Is it for all the SMEs or is it only for those who are struggling? And how would you determine whether they are struggling or they are not struggling?
But certainly, lots of SMEs that are doing well, and they will not be covered by this particular fund. But these are the one that I'm proposing are basically for SMEs and micro SMEs that are hand to mouth at this time. And by looking at their profit loss margins, by looking at their account books, by looking at their bank balances, you already will know where they stand financially and how financially sustainable they are. And I think that's you get a sense of some of the problems that they're having. See, if you are a older businessman, you will have the money to push through or to survive for 1 year at least. But if you are, business for the last 5 or 6 years, I don't think you can survive this though. But if you have been there for 15 years, or 20, 20 years, you can survive this. You will have sufficient savings, investments in other areas that you can bring to support your core business. But here we are looking at, people like hairdressers. Very much the margins are very small because of competition. The margins are very small. Coffee shops margins are also very small because they are also in competition. So their saving capacity is very less. And stalls, especially in stalls, in restaurants and so on, uh, they can't survive. So basically, our effort is basically to help micro SMEs and SMEs that are, unable to survive. And I think the government has done some effort. They've got the wage subsidy scheme, which can be improved. And then they have a loan moratorium fund, which gives you a breathing space. But I think if you need to, the third element, it's actually a rental relief fund, and it's something that you see in other countries. You have these three in place in other countries, but in Malaysia somehow the rental relief is not in the radar. So I think that is the reason. And to answer your question more pointedly, it doesn't involve the bigger SMEs because their rental will run, 20,000, 100,000, and so on and so forth. But these are the smaller ones that need help, that really need help. And the numbers are many. And the numbers are many. Yeah, and these are the ones that, like, for example, people who are what do you call it, hairdressers. Yeah, I have a friend who's a hairdresser, and he actually is based in PJ, and he has to make a decision in the next 2 months whether to carry on opening it or not, because his payment to his rental is about 5 or 6,000 actually, 6,000, the heart of PJ, and he has to make a decision whether to carry on because first he had three staff, he laid off two, now he's got one staff together with him, and that tells you that that he's in crisis already. And if you see in the window, you will see this Mache who said who was interviewed. He had three staff actually. She had three staff, and now immediately after MCO, she laid off one. And then 2 months ago, 3 months ago, she laid off the other one. Now she's the only one who's working there. And she was telling us, if this one goes on, I can't survive anymore. And there was also the first person who you saw in the video. He's actually an Orang Asli. He's an Orang Asli, and he was telling me if he can sell something for 30 ringgit a day, he will be happy though. And he says, I can't pay the rental. No way can I pay the rental. So these are the people that the government needs to reach out to. The smaller SMEs and the micro SMEs. When I say smaller SMEs, I mean people like Dicom and so on, where they have 2 workers, 3 workers, and you have lots of SMEs who have that, and they're all in the service sector. And most service sectors have to pay rent.
All right, thank you. And also, I would like to ask, this 8,000, right? Are you expecting in a one-off, as in like 8,000 times by six? Because there are people like Deacon who said he has to pay 32,000 by end of this month. So with 8,000, I don't think he could pay off all his rental fee that he
Uh,
needs this month.
Certainly not like government also won't give you for 6 months,
Yeah.
but you have to do it on a monthly basis. But if there was a rental scheme already existing as part of the recovery package, COVID recovery package, then Beckham does not have to close. He could have gone to the government and said, hey, listen, I have to pay 4,500 ringgit every month. I don't have the savings. This is my bank book. This is my wife's bank book. This is the house I have. That's all the money I have. Then they could have given him the money. And he would not have laid off 2 of the workers he had. So of the 5, he had to lay off 2. And now end of this month, he's going to lay off 3. And he wouldn't have gone to the loan. And what I think we have to recognize is it is an economic recovery package. Though. This is important. How does the economy recover? The economy recovers when people are employed, when people provide the services. But once you lay off people, then they have no carrying capacity. They can't support their families. Other questions? Zaidi, do you have any questions?